Seeing reality in advance. As entrepreneurs, we need to be able to predict the future. So I want you to put your time capsules on and I want you to travel in the future in time with me for a moment here. This is going to be a very, very interesting one. Yesterday, I was basically on a meeting with a mentor because we were discussing one of the problems that were happening with Ultimate Editors. One of the things that we've been facing over the last 2 years, which if I shared with you guys the last 2 years of Ultimate Editors, you'd find it super interesting. One of the problems that we were facing is that we were selling, the way that Ultimate Editors worked is, at the beginning we sold an offer that worked in the market really well. Short form video editing was trending. I had a video that popped off on short form video editing. So we built an offer around short form editing styles, which was the trendy topic, and we started selling. And everything boomed. Now, a year later, I doubled, so I want you to put yourself in my shoes. A year later, I doubled the content, double the input, double the amount of people that are seeing the offer, improve the sales mechanisms, improve the website, improve the lead magnets, improve everything. I start adding more to this funnel, and all of a sudden, we have twice as many views and half as many sales. We went from 200,000 views per week to 500,000 YouTube views per month, 500,000 YouTube views per month. And out of those, we were only getting half the sales. And so this being said, this was a problem that we've been facing for the last 2 years. Like imagine trying to row a boat forward as hard as you possibly can, but really just going nowhere. And I know a lot of business owners face this too. So what happened is I got on this call with the mentor and we were discussing it and looking at data, and he was just like, it's as simple as this. You've got a phase over here and a phase over here. And the platform is moving from this sense to this sense. So we're going from phase 1 to phase 2. You're standing on the platform. You built Ultimate Editors on the platform back when it was in phase 1, 2023, right? You've built the editing styles, built the YouTube channel, built everything, and everything was working perfectly fine. But the platform's moving and you've stayed in phase 1. And now the platform isn't in phase 2, but it's kind of like halfway, or it's kind of like a quarter of the way there. And you're still right on the edge of the platform. So you're still technically selling somewhat okay, but it's still moving at enough of a pace for you to fall off. And it's moving into the second phase, right? And instead of you dropping the gear back and moving with it, instead of dropping more weight, going less on what used to be working and is no longer working, and moving into the things that are working, instead what you decided to do is you decided to pack on way more weight, bring in more people, double the sales mechanisms, improve the lead magnets, do all of that. And what you noticed is that it halved the performance because you're heavier and you're less likely to move with the platform. And so one of the biggest lessons that he taught me was what you need to do now is you need to be able to predict the future. I've literally got this written down. I've got this written down as the title for this video. Entrepreneurs or business owners need to be able to see reality in advance. Now let me break down what that essentially means. Right now we're at a phase in Ultimate Editors where we are moving into that second phase. I've officially decided this year, you know what, I'm dropping everything. I've tried it for 2 years, it's not working. I'm dropping everything behind and I'm moving into the new phase. And what's essentially happening is that as we move into this new phase, I'm not at the point where the platform is at the new phase. I'm not at the point where I know what's working and I'm like, cool, let's just go ahead and run with what's working. I'm at this very interesting point in business where I need to take a big risk. Because if I wait for the platform, the market to shift into this new phase, which is AI by the way, if I wait for the market to shift into this new phase and everyone capitalizes on it, I'm going to be the copycat. And it's not like I'm going to get half the results. I'm going to get 10 times worse results. If I don't wait and I jump way too far ahead right now, it's going to take a while for people to catch up. It's going to take a while for people to acknowledge these new beliefs in the new phase, to believe that AI is the new method, to believe that this is the new market, this is how things are moving right now, and hence why that offer works. So we can't do it too late because we'll be too late to the game. We're going to miss out on the big conversions. We can't do it too early because people don't yet have the beliefs and we're not at that phase yet. But we're just getting to the right point. We're very, very close to the right point, which I believe is going to be happening in the next 6 months. And essentially what he was saying is now this gives you a 6 months window of what you essentially need to do is you got to take the biggest risk in predicting the future and affirming it from now. And that's what's going to make or break Ultimate Editors in the next 6 months. I truly believe we can either 10x Ultimate Editors in the next 6 months or 0x it. And the main difference is going to be how accurate our prediction is going to be. Now, the accuracy of our prediction of what's going to happen in this next phase is going to be obviously based on our experience with markets, our logical conclusions, our discussions with other business owners, what we're seeing happening around in the niches in the markets around us. And the big thing that I've come to realize is like, there's going to come a point with every business owner's life where he's going to have to predict the future. And I had to do this when I first launched Ultimate Editors, and you might have to do this as well with your own business. Like when I first launched Ultimate Editors, the thing is, I had to predict that people are going to be interested in editing styles. Now, that was easier for me. I was an editor. I'm in the market. I know I'm interested in editing styles. I was essentially not even looking to predict it. I was just building content that I simply enjoyed. And because I simply enjoyed it, it was the thing that was going to happen in the market because I was the consumer in the market. So I was my ideal ICP and I was making content for that ICP. Now the problem is, I'm going to need to take a big risk with the marketing in essentially predicting what's happening in the future. Now, I'm pretty confident in my prediction, and I'm pretty confident this is going to 10x Ultimate Editors, and we're going to be the first people to capitalize it, and we want to have the biggest name on it. We got to start preaching it from now. Kind of like Bitcoin, right? If someone predicted, there were people who predicted Bitcoin was going to blow. No one knows about them, but these people, they rode the wave way too early. But if they just did it right before Bitcoin blows, hey guys, Bitcoin's going to blow, put all your money in it, 6 months later, Bitcoin blows. People would look at these guys as major market leaders. And that's essentially what we're trying to do with Ultimate Editors. So to summarize this whole lesson, I wanted to create this to essentially tie a very valuable lesson that I learned yesterday that I came to the realization of to a lot of business owners right now. So you might be someone who's looking to build your business, or you might be someone who's like already building a business and growing it. Either way, I'm on this channel just sharing my journey with you. And so the thing to note here is that as business owners, an important skill to have is you need to be able to predict the future. You need to be able to look at the market and assess where it's exactly moving. You need to look at this boat and assess where's the next wave coming from so that we can ride it and capitalize on it. Because ultimately the game of business comes to a point like at the beginning, the first like 90% of the game of business is building the basics. It's making sure your offers are solid, making sure you're selling the right things, you've built an audience, your content is dialed in, your outreach is dialed in, your ads are dialed in, whatever method you're using, your sales mechanisms are working. It's making sure all of these things are operating and they are optimized. But once you come to the point where essentially what we did, we've been working super hard for the last 2 years on optimizing Ultimate Editors and nothing has changed. So that's the thing that's clicking in our mind that's making us realize that, okay, maybe something else has to come. And so once you've come to the point where you've optimized every system, you've grown every metric, and you've made sure that the entire system operates really well, what comes in is coming out really, really well, but the problem is the conversion isn't there. Then what you have to do is you need to move with the market. And then essentially what you need to do is you have to predict the future. So that's going to be the lesson for today. As entrepreneurs, you need to be able to see reality in advance. And so I'll keep you guys updated with how we're seeing reality and how we're applying it to Ultimate Editors. See you guys soon.